Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori, and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook, and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. This is the corner of the high tunnel, or one end of it. I've got some Swiss chard here. I'm going to be planting Swiss chard and a bunch of different kale down here. And I wanted to show y'all how I plant my greens here in the high tunnel. I've taken and I have amended my soil in here, which means it's got goat poop. It's got some really good compost that I've been making all this summer. And it also is full of worms, so it has worm castings in it. And what I did is mix that all in good with my soil, and then I took a hose and I just have soaked the top of it down a little bit. And what I do is I broadcast my seeds. Here I've got some kale, and I broadcast it pretty thick too. And I'm going to plant several different kind of kales in this corner. I don't care for them to be mixed up or side by side or whatever. That's the way I usually always do it in here. Now, even with the plastic over the high tunnel, when it gets about the end of November into December, I will put my insulated row crop covers. And here I've got some more kale. And I'm going to broadcast them too. I just kind of throw them over the soil. But my insulated row crop covers, I have some hoops that I'll put down along my raised beds here in the high tunnel. And then I'll put my insulated row crop covers over my greens and my lettuces and whatever else I have here in the high tunnel. And it will keep my greens. I mean, it can get to 32 degrees and everything will be okay. Now, if it gets below 32, you might have a little bit of tops of your greens and stuff bit, but not too bad. But I have very good, here's some more kale. I have very good germination broadcasting the seeds like I do. And it may make a liar out of me this year. It may not come up very good, but you never know. If it doesn't come up good, I'll replant it. But doing it this way has always done good for me. So you just broadcast your seeds in there. And then I've got some more different kale seeds here. And I've got a bunch of spinach and some different lettuces too that I'm going to be planting in here, because I've got different areas that don't have anything growing in it that I'm just going to cover with greens and lettuces, and probably plant some radishes maybe in here. I've got some onions going. But I've got a bunch of tomatoes growing in here, and marigolds, and some different herbs and stuff. Now that I've got to broadcasting my seeds, I'm just going to take my hose and I'm just going to go over the seeds in the soil and just kind of soak them down good. And I'll come out every day and I'll soak them like this until I see germination. And then I won't come out and soak them every day. Now, The thing of it is, planting them this time of year, and usually I do about the end of August, so I'm not too late doing it. Your soil is still warm enough to germinate your seeds. But by the time they get big enough and really start growing, the weather's going to be cooler. And that's what we need to have a good harvest of some good greens. Now I've got a tomato cage in here, and what I'm wanting to do in this corner is I'm just going to make me a row underneath this tomato cage all the way around the bottom. And I'm going to plant some sugar snap peas. Now I don't want a bunch of them. I just want enough that I can come out here and get me a few off the vine to put in salads or in a stir fry or something like that. So I'll just go around the bottom all the way around. Plant them about a half an inch deep. I don't want to plant, thinking that I'm going to be putting some up or anything. I just want enough to be able to come out here and grab some and eat. A lot of times, them sugar snap peas, when I'm working out in the garden, I just come out and grab me a handful and start eating. Like a snack out in the garden while you're working. My marigolds are doing really good here in High Tunnel. And, of course, they're good to have in here because they're kind of a little bit of a pest control, because there's a lot of things that don't like the smell of the marigolds. And they just keep growing and getting thicker, and I'm just going to keep them in here. They'll probably be here till the first frost, I'm sure. So I'm just going to cover my peas up. Then we'll get the hose after them too. And I'll soak them down really good. Now I took this whole area right here and I amended the soil here too. With the same amendment. I took goat manure and some good compost. And I'm just going to kind of work it in. Take my hoe and just kind of mix all that stuff in that soil. I made some really good compost in the back of the garden this summer. It was a lot of leaf mulch, and that stuff breaks down really, really good and really fast. And then plus just different scraps, and it had a lot of chicken manure in it and just different things, and it broke down done really good. I'm going to plant a bunch of spinach right here in this spot. So I'm just going to work it up a little bit and smooth it down just a little bit. And I like to soak the soil down before I broadcast the seeds, but this over here was pretty wet. And this is where it went wrong. This is where the garden stopped. Oh. I'm okay. But I'm telling you, I was seeing stars.
Oh. So, yes, I'm okay. But wasn't that something? Garden all my life, I have never, ever done anything like that before. But Mr. Brown, every once in a while he'll tell me, now, make sure you turn that hoe around, or make sure you turn that rake around the right way when you, so you don't step on it and hurt yourself. Well, Miss Lori done it. Let me tell you something. It walloped me a good one. So y'all be careful. And always make sure that the spade of your hoe or your garden rake is always pointing the other direction, and that you don't step on it. Anyways, I'm okay. But I was seeing stars, y'all. I'm telling you, I was seeing stars. I was seeing little pink pigs. I was seeing whatever. And even at one point, where it hit right here, this eye just went black. and I thought I was going to, I thought I was fixing to pass out. That's why I tried so hard to get to Mr. Brown, because he was in the front yard. He was busy, and I thought, if I pass out here in the high tunnel, he's not going to find me till probably after dark before he starts really looking for me. So I thought, if I can just make it to the front. And he said he seen me coming, and he said I was kind of wobbling back and forth. So I told him, I said, I feel like I'm fixing to pass out. So that thing really, it walled me a good one. And good thing that I got it pumped up. It didn't go in, you know, so I didn't have a concussion. But my eye is still just a little bit black, not much, just a little bit black and blue on my eyelid, but not much. But it's so sore to touch right here. You just rake your hand across it, it's really sore. But anyways, y'all learn from me. Be careful which way your hoe's pointing. Your garden hoe. Oh, it's something. I can laugh at myself now. But anyways, I want to show y'all something. You know, I told y'all I get really good germination when I broadcast my greens. So I'm really proud, because they're really coming up. After about 4 days, they started coming up, and now they're just up everywhere. So I want to show y'all. Hey, this is that corner that my video started out as, and where I just started broadcasting all that different kale. And they're just coming up and coming up and coming up and doing really good. A lot of germination already. So I'm going to have a lot of greens right here in this corner. My garden sage is still doing good. Everything's doing good. My fig tree is just looking so healthy in here. And over here, whoops, you can see my sugar snap peas that I planted around this tomato cage. They're coming up. Didn't take them long either, and they're popping up. And over here I've got some more kale. And that area right there, I planted a bunch of spinach. And I noticed that right here I've got one coming up. So eventually this should fill up with spinach. So it's all doing good. I planted parsley right here in this corner. It's not coming up yet, but parsley takes a little bit of while. Everything's looking good in here. I planted celery and lettuce over here, and some beets. You can see that right here I've got some lettuce coming up. So everything's popping up pretty good. So I'm pretty proud. Right here is where I planted a bunch of celery, and it takes celery a while to come on up. I've already got some planted right here. It's been here since, this celery's been here since last fall. That's how long it's been here. And my tomatoes right here, the Dr. Witches, however you say it, I mean, it's just still growing and producing tomatoes. So I should have tomatoes for a long time here in the high tunnel. I'm out here picking about every other day tomatoes for us to eat. And there's tomatoes back there. There's some the indigo black cherry tomatoes, just like there is right here. So I have plenty of tomatoes still. So my high tunnels, it's looking good. It's going to give me a lot of greens and a lot of lettuce this winter. So guys, y'all plant y'all some greens. You don't have to have a high tunnel. You can just have a container. You can have a raised bed or anything. You don't have to have a greenhouse. I do have some row crop covers I want to show y'all. They're insulated, and they're what I use all winter when it starts really getting cold. But y'all have to remember that most greens love cold weather, especially cool weather like fall weather, and that's when they really thrive. So y'all can do it. Greens are some of the healthiest things you can put in your body, especially in winter time, when we just need that extra vitamins and stuff. So grow you some greens, whether it be kale or spinach or just whatever, some Swiss chard, something. Just grow you something, because you can go out there and you can nip you off some to eat, and it's going to come back and it's going to grow and it's going to keep growing. I guarantee you. So y'all grow you some greens. But anyways, I'm going to show you these row crop covers real quick. Okay, these are two different ones that I bought, I think back in the spring. And I've got some more because they last a good while. And this is an 8x24. You can get them different sizes, but this is your plant cover, what it looks like. Then you've got a different brand here, and it's called Blanket Plant Cover. It's a 10x30. You can always cut them to size too if you've got like shorter beds or something. But they're not real expensive. And if you want to be able to grow you some winter veggies, these things are very important. So anyways, I've got several in my Amazon store down below if you want to check them out. So anyways, guys, I hope y'all liked this video. Maybe you learned a little bit of how broadcasting your greens. You can grow a lot of greens this winter. And I hope y'all try it, at least if it's not in a container or something. But you can do it, I promise you. But thanks for hanging out with me. And thanks for, if you laughed at me, that's okay, because I laugh at myself. But anyways, everything's good here on the homestead. So y'all have a beautiful week. Be safe, stay healthy. We love y'all, and we'll see you in a couple of days, because we're always doing something. See you guys. God bless.